In this lecture, we're going to talk about prefabbing and tidying things up so that we can create our other levels or re-update them. And as is often the case, we go ahead and put a whole bunch of love into one of our scenes, and then our other scenes kind of don't look the same. So our camera doesn't look the same. If I go back to one of these, our lighting doesn't look the same, our settings aren't the same, and so on. So how's my gravity here? My gravity is global, so it's being applied throughout everything, but my rocket has been prefab. So some of the things have made their way through, but the Cinemachine camera hasn't, and a couple of other things. So let's go back to our main level in here. We want to prefab everything, basically. And I've been going along without prefabbing everything, which is a little bit naughty, but I want to show you a little bit of the pain of how these things work so that it really makes sense to you. You're not just doing exactly what I'm doing, we're discovering it together. So let's go into prefabs and find our main camera, and we'll prefab that. Find our Cinemachine camera, we'll prefab that. Find our directional light, we'll prefab that as well. We've already prefabbed the global volume, but prefab that if you haven't done so already. We don't need to prefab the environment. We could. There's a whole bunch of prefabs within here, but we can do nested prefabs, which is great. The ground, we don't really need to prefab that either, but we could. But if I prefab my entire environment, then when I went into the next scene, I could retain what I've made in my scene, but I could also just drop the entire environment in and then pick and choose what I wanted out of that. So that's one way of doing it. You could prefab everything and then take that into your other levels, your other scenes. And similarly with our lights, we could prefab those and take all these lights in, but they're in very specific positions, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, just a little bit of a note about the lights. Again, I was a little bit naughty here, going a bit fast and just seeing what worked. I now have created one prefab out of my light box. This is something I did after the last lecture. I thought, oh, whoops, better prefab my light box. And so I've created that as a prefab, but you see all these other light boxes, I just duplicated those, which is okay, but at some point we might want to change something and say, oh, let's make this light brighter, or make this light not so bright. So again, we want to feel a little bit of that pain of, how do I know if I should prefab a thing or not prefab a thing? You don't want to necessarily get stuck in the trap of having to prefab things just in case you might want to use it, but the general rule is prefab everything, and this is the exact reason why. So I want to change the light now on all of them. It makes it quite difficult to do so, but if I have a prefab, then I can change the light intensity just on the prefab and it will apply to everything. Now it's a little bit different if it's a material, so that was one of the things I was looking at, materials. I've got our orange glow. Say for example, I thought my orange was a little bit too dull, then I click on the glow and then inspector and the base map, and I can go make the actual base map color a darker orange if I wanted to do that, or I could make it any other sort of color I wanted. Blue doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm going to leave it just as white, which gives us that emissive material on top of white, which makes it not quite as solid a color, which is what I was after. I also duplicated that and created another material for the green, and then I prefabbed this as a green light box, or light box green, squashed it down a little bit, and I used that over near my landing pad. So I wanted to show you those just so you weren't a bit confused about what I did off camera. We already created one of those materials, so you know how to do that, and we created the light box, you know how to do that as well. I just renamed it and prefabbed it. So now I've got those things in my prefabs, and that's a much better way to do it. So I want you to see the workflow. If you create one thing and you think, I'm probably going to use that in multiple places, then prefab it straight away. That makes your life way easier. Now that we've got all these things prefabbed, let's jump over into our other scene. So find our scenes and have a look at what we can do there. First of all, I could just delete those because I really didn't put a lot of effort into them, and delete them and then just start again by duplicating the one that I've got that I like. Or, as I mentioned, I could prefab my environment, go into those other scenes and drag that prefab in, and boom, all of a sudden we've got this. Or I could just build it up from scratch. So you know what? Actually, I'm going to prefab my entire environment just to give me a head start to show you that process. So let's click on Assets, Prefabs, grab all of my environment game object, drop that down into my prefabs, find my scenes, go to the under scene over here, save all my work I did in there. Okay, now what we need to do is I can delete the main camera, delete the Cinemachine camera, delete the directional light, delete the global volume, and we need to put all those things back in again. So Assets, Prefabs, find the main camera, drop that in up at the top, find the global volume, drop that in as well. Find the Cinemachine camera, drop that in, not on top of the camera, but below it. And then what was my other thing that I had in here? It was the directional light. Drop that in as well. You can see the world has changed color straight away. Now I need to click on my main camera, make sure that's all looking good. Cinemachine camera. They'll probably be connecting it up to the player again. So tracking target, click on that. Find the player rocket. So that's one thing that we have to do manually, but the other stuff I think came in okay. Let's have a look at our camera. Yep, that looks good. And our player rocket settings are good. Our gravity, I think that's the gravity we want because it applies to the whole project. But let's go up to edit, find our project settings, look for gravity. Yep, that applies to everything, which is great. And then the other thing is in our lighting tab in here, environment, I believe that we've got our source as a color in our other level. So I'm just going to save this level, go back to our other scene, find over, and within here in environment, I can click on the ambient color that we've got in our world. We've got kind of a bluey tint there. And down the bottom left, you can click on add new preset as a swatch. I've already done that as I was messing around. That gives us a swatch that I can now jump back over into my other level, which is the under level. And over on here in my ambient color for my environment lighting, click on that and you can see that swatch is now present. That allows us to apply that into this world as well. And my intensity multiplier was 0.17. You don't have to have all of your levels looking exactly the same and same color and all that kind of stuff, but for now I will. Now I will delete my ground. I'm also going to look at my launch pad. I've got two launch pads, so this is back in the day when we didn't quite have this done correctly. I'm going to delete my launch pad number 1 because in my assets prefabs I've got a finishing. It's still called finishing in the prefab, so I'll drop that in. I'll just rename the prefab itself to be landing pad. It's not finishing pad, it's landing pad. And then we'll put this somewhere out of the way for the moment. Inspector 0 on the Z, that's all that matters. Okay, and now if I wanted to bring all the environment, I find my assets, prefabs, where's the environment? Environment, starts with the letter E, there it is. Drag all that in, whoop, into the world. While the environment is highlighted, I can put that all to 0, 0, 0, and that will be, should be in exactly the right spot. And that's why we have our parent game object. When we have an empty game object, that's why we reset it back to 0, so we can drop it in the world and know that we can just go 0, 0, 0 and be in the right spot. Where's my player rocket? Player rocket is there. Move the player rocket. So it would have been a lot easier just to get there and duplicate my level, but I wanted to show you the process of bringing in some things. I've pretty much brought in everything, but how to bring in some of the things back into this level. I'm actually going to delete my finish pad and my launch pad because it's going to be a lot easier, I think, if I just drop them straight from the prefabs into where I want them. So there's the launch pad, and we'll make sure that's on the 0. And there's the finish landing pad, I mean. It's not a finish pad. No, I'll drop that in properly. And put that on the 0 as well. Okay, so there it is. And you know what? I could prefab the lights and bring the lights in, or I could just scatter around the lights from my prefabs here, or place them in the scene. So this scene is, I brought in the assets. It looks nearly exactly the same as the other one, but I'd move it around and change some things and re-update it. But that's the process of prefabbing. That's why prefabbing is super important. That's why we should prefab things as soon as we create them the first time, and not have a whole bunch of duplicates that we then think, why didn't I prefab that? And this is the process you can go through to update your levels if you wanted to do it more manually. Just wanted to show you that process, just in case you're wondering. Good stuff. I will see you in the next lecture.